everybody. Welcome to Big Balls Fantasy Football, the show with powerful picks, sexy super fans, and that's really fun. I'm your host, 27-year fantasy veteran, Greg Reifsteck.
And I'm your co-host, Jenilee, and we are both very big Bears fans. Mm-hmm. That's right. And together we are the beauty
and the beast
of fantasy football experts.
Yeah, this is a week that will go down in Bears history. It was the highest rated Thanksgiving game ever. The Bears playing the Packers in Lambeau. And what did we do?
We won in Lambeau. Fuck those Packers!
Fuck those Packers! Fuck them in the... Yeah. Anyway, I'll be nice to our Packer fans about that much. Prost, sorry dude, we finally did it. And he was, defeated, of course. I texted him a few times. But, he said, Prost said the key thing. He said, Cutler played a clean game. That's why you guys won and your defense was good.
Yeah, it's about time that we beat the Packers, period, because I think before that game, Cutler was 1-12 against them.
Yeah.
In Lambeau just made it extra special on the night that Brett Favre's number was being retired. Just put the icing on the cake there. And, finally, Jay Cutler got a win against the Packers.
Yeah, so. He didn't seem to be in his head. There was that one fumble that he recovered, but that was a bad snap. But otherwise, the real MVP in this game was Porter and the defense getting key turnovers at the right time and actually holding Rodgers down the stretch in that last drive when my girlfriend, I'm watching it at her house, I'm screaming like a crazy person, and then I go quiet, and Rodgers starts driving the field, and I started saying, oh, crap, this is what we do. And she said, I must have said it like 10 times. I'm like, this is what we do. We let Rodgers go down the field. And, we let him go down the field, and then he didn't throw passes. And that was it.
Yeah, he didn't throw a touchdown, exactly. And, Tracy Porter was the one that intercepted him. And I think my disappointment for sure after that interception was I understand that the Bears were trying to run out the clock.
Yeah.
But you also have to get first downs in order to run out the clock. And that's what we were talking about a little bit it was very much a flashback of the Lovie Smith era of, oh my gosh, there's too much time on the clock to be this conservative. We ran the ball on 2nd and 15. And I'm thinking to myself, why the hell are you running it? You need first downs, and we did give Rodgers time to go all the way. That's what gave him the time to go all the way down the field and put our defense in a position that they had to make stops in the end zone. So kudos to our defense for sure. Like you said, we are the second-ranked passing defense in the league, which is pretty crazy.
Especially after, where were we 2 seasons ago?
Oh, gosh, terrible. Our run defense is still pretty bad. I think we're like 29th against the run, so we're getting gashed against the run. But, we don't have the best corners or the best safeties in the league, but we are getting, our secondary is somehow getting it done because we're not even getting a ton of pressure either, which usually helps out your secondary. We're getting some, Willie Young and Lamar Houston are finally coming along there. But, it's been pretty interesting to see that our secondary somehow is just making it happen, and our defense looks much improved. And good job, Cutler. I had him pegged to get like 3 turnovers in this game. I figured he'd throw 2 interceptions and he'd lose a fumble. So he fumbled but didn't lose it and no picks. So
we texted each other before the game. Cutler. You said, what's the over-under? And I said, I think it's 2. And you said, I think 3. And I said, okay, I'll stick with 2. You take 3. But 0 was the magic number to get it done. The stats were great. Cutler... 200 yards.
200 yards and a touchdown to Zach Miller. Langford had the other touchdown. They did hold Langford and Forte in check, running-wise. We didn't get a ton of rushing yards. But, again, the team did enough. So
hey, 17-14. It's called a W. Doesn't matter how close it is. It matters that you win. Aaron Rodgers, 202 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. And that was the key pick that Porter made. Lacey got you 105 yards, and caught a touchdown, and that was it for them.
Yeah, Lacey gashed us, and Cobb did okay. I think he had 70-something yards, but no touchdowns. So we held Cobb in check, and then everyone else, receiver-wise, didn't do much for them. Again, 17-13 win by the Bears. It was a grinded out, more defensive type of game, not high scoring, but Bears won, so...
Amazing.
You know me, I post a bunch of stuff, and I never really cuss on our Facebook.
No.
And, I do with friends, but I was like, screw it, I don't even care. Like, this was such a big win. Like,
I mean, I look at it this way. This is a really good sign to build for the future, and I know I have been all over Cutler, but the one complaint we've had is he throws picks in the third quarter, right when the game's catching momentum, and then the game goes to hell. This was not the case. And so this is a really good building experience doing this. I think all of us know that we're probably going to lose Forte. Langford's going to be the guy next season. And then you have John Fox. I don't know how long he's going to last as our coach, but he's always going to be known as the guy that at least had us get a win in Lambeau. A lot of people are talking about it at the bars when I talk. They're like, well, Fox is the guy that's getting us a lot of the personnel. Yes, he's getting us the personnel. The coaches are getting us the personnel. So here's my question to you. Do you think we're actually going to get our hopes up and actually get in and get a wild card bid?
Well, here's the thing. I've been talking to a lot of other Bears fans, and I said, hey, since we won this game, I could care less if we lose every other game from here on out.
Yep.
And that's because you want the high draft picks. So you don't want to finish 7-9. You don't want to finish 8-8 and be in that crappy spot when it comes to the draft. And I don't know. I think we have a chance to make the playoffs, but I'm not as optimistic about that as a lot of Bears fans are now that we're winning some games and we look better as a team. I think Bears fans are like, oh my God, we can do it this year. I have us pegged to do pretty well, make a pretty good run next year, and to make a very good run in 2017. But, this year I'm not sure, and that's kind of why I'm like, oh gosh, if we don't make the playoffs, then you want to lose and get that high first-round draft pick.
Yeah, I'm in that zone kind of too. I'm on the same page as you, Jenilee. Just like, we need to be realistic about this. We're not going to throw games, of course, but I'm hoping we maybe not lose a few of the games and get in a good position so we do get somebody good. I mean, we need some. Jay Cutler's not going to be the long-term answer. And who knows about David Fales, who just got promoted up to the second spot, and Jimmy Clausen is now a Raven. But the quarterback position is going to be key, and we're not going to sign him to another long-term contract. So we need somebody to come in. We need somebody to learn behind Cutler, and so we need to draft a good quarterback in this draft for sure.
Well, yeah, and there's still a lot of pieces missing on the defense. We need a good linebacker position, middle linebacker, and also on the defensive line. That's another area that, like I said, we're not getting the pressure. We're not quite getting there completely on our defensive line. That's where the run stops start. We're having problems against the run. So, there's some key defensive positions that we need as well. So, it's torn because if we do make the playoffs, I don't think we're going to go far, but it's been so long since we made the playoffs. That it would feel good. So, again, it's interesting. And hopefully next year we have Alshon and White playing side by side. And I'm excited to see how that duo develops, hopefully next year. So.
Yeah, hopefully White stays healthy and, comes back. And
Alshon gets healthier than this year. He's injured every year, but this one was pretty bad. He missed a lot of games so far. So.
Definitely. All right, I'm sorry, everybody out there. Enough Bears talk. Yes, this is a fantasy football show. And yes, it's week 13 in the NFL. In a lot of leagues, most leagues that have a consolation round, or have the 2-round system, you are going to be having this week, and then you're going into your playoffs. So it's a very key week. I clinched in one of my leagues. I'm very happy about that. You clinched in our league, didn't you?
I actually clinched in only my all-girls league so far. I thought, I'm close to clinching. I think if I win...
we have 2 clinchers in our league.
Yeah, I think if I win this week in your work league and then our league, I think I might clinch in both.
Yes.
So, but I'm right up there where... I think I'd have to have like a really bad week this week and maybe next week to not make it in.
We're fighting. Everybody's fighting for that 3rd and 4th and 5th and 6th spot. If you have that structure, so you have to listen to our picks this week. Also, you need to go to our app, of course. And
because it's free, guys.
That's right. Sorry about this weekend. We had a technical issue with our app company. That has been solved. You've been getting notifications all the rest of the week, and we will be giving you notifications during the key games this week. We'll be telling you when, oh God, Tony Romo ends up on his back and rebusts his, collarbone and is out for the season.
And Josh McCown also.
We'll tell you about
Speaking of collarbones.
Exactly, on the same page. And we'll tell you when Jimmy Graham all of a sudden is out. And tell you when Gronk is on his ass. So that's why you need to go get the app over at the App Store, at the Google Play, and at Apple stores. So we're able to send those push notifications to you. If you don't get those, there's the player update function on there. Just go right to it. Of course, get a hold of us on our player questions. You can ask a lineup question instantly right before the games. We will get on those. Jenilee especially loves answering those. She's on top of all of that. And what else do we have on there?
And with those lineup Q&As, if you can help us out a little bit, we are on Pacific time, but we're up early Sunday mornings. So if you can try to send them maybe before 9 o'clock our time.
True that.
Because we're already heading over to the bar. So sometimes when we get those like 9:30, 10 minutes before the game questions, it's hard for us to answer because we're already kind of where we're going to be to watch them. So if you can try to hit us up a little bit earlier or Saturday night, that's perfect.
We want to help them out.
We want to help you out. It's just a little bit hard when it's 10, 15 minutes right before the games start for us to get on there. So,
I think talking about the app, I think I hit all the major injuries, didn't I? I think that's about it.
Yeah. There's so many, but they're all on there.
A lot of injuries this week, so watch out for that. Of course, we are going to be giving you picks that are going to get you set for your playoffs. And these are also going to be picks. Next week, we're going to be giving you playoff picks that are going to get you through the end of the playoffs. And we might do a little bit of something extra special. I haven't talked to Jenilee about it yet. So we might do something besides the, go hards and go softs and do a special playoff edition. So look forward to that. Who's going first this week?
You're going first this week because I've been, we've been doing it a little different, and I've been going first. So
we've been on our holiday breaks and everything, and vacationing and all of that. So I will be right back with the Beasting Out picks.
right way. Thank you, Mom.
Hey guys, it's Smash from Big Balls Fantasy Football, and as of right now, I am leaving Qualcomm Stadium because once again, the San Diego Chargers lost to the Kansas City Chiefs. I think there's 1 minute left of the game. I'm leaving now. It's 33-3. I don't even want to see the end of the game. The San Diego Chargers are now 2-8. Absolutely awful. I hope we lose every other game when we get a first round draft pick next year. Until I talk to you guys again, signing off, this is Smash.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Big Balls Fantasy Football. It's Greg the Beast with your 4 beasting out picks this week. I give you 2 go hards and 2 go softs, 2 picks that are going to help you out getting you into the playoffs this week. It's week 13. You need to win this game. I am sitting in 4th place. I need to win this game. In 2 of my leagues, I'm sitting in 4th, and I need to maintain my position to get in. I don't think I'm going to go any higher, but I need to win a game. I am basing half of these picks on my own leagues, people that I have picked up off the waiver wire mostly to get me solidified into that spot to make sure I make it into the next round and then hopefully get my championship. It'd be really nice to get in 2 out of my 3 leagues this year. So let me get to my first go hard pick this week. It's Doug Baldwin over there on the Seahawks. He is going up against the Vikings. He is a very big pickup this week, and I know. I was one of those guys holding off on him for a long time because Russell Wilson had been playing very erratically. So Doug Baldwin was some weeks getting points, some weeks not getting points. He, as I like to always talk about in my segment, he is beasting out. He's going on a streak. He has been getting really good stats. He has caught 19 passes, 4 touchdowns in the last 3 games. Week 10, 134 yards and a touchdown. Week 12 last week, 145 yards and 3 touchdowns. I'm no fool. I know he's not going to get 3 touchdowns every week. But if he can get you 100 yards and a touchdown each week going forward into your playoffs, I think that is a pretty damn good way to get through the playoffs with a really decent wide receiver. Some of the wide receivers are trailing off, and you're finding out they're not the guy that's going to get me through. Doug Baldwin, I am picking him as one of my picks to click because Russell Wilson is really getting a rhythm with him. He's going to especially get a rhythm with him because Jimmy Graham went out last week and is out for the season. So he is going to get a lot more targets than he even was getting now, and he was producing. So get him in your lineup this week. Sit him in there for your playoffs. My second go hard this week is good old Brock Osweiler. All the people over at the Broncos bar were screaming, Ozzy, 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 oi, 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 for good reason. He beat the Patriots and ended their winning streak on Sunday Night Football. Unbelievable game, really fun to watch. Brock did not get spectacular fantasy numbers, but he held you solid. You know, he did, get a pick in there and kind of threw things off there. But I think he's going to keep playing stronger and stronger. This week he has a phenomenal matchup against the Chargers D that have given up 4 300-yard games and 18 touchdowns. Really crappy. The Chargers have finally put a few games together, but otherwise they have just been letting quarterbacks go crazy. So, I mean, you really need to get Brock in there. He is going to – I don't think Manning is coming back this season. He was sitting on the sideline with the cast around his foot, with his foot problem, whatever they're calling it. I think they're kind of trying to save face with him and just let him go out gracefully with an injury. That's my personal theory. Brock's the guy. He has a rifle of an arm. He was going nuts to Sanders. I was a little disappointed at good old Demaryius Thomas over there dropping all of these lightning rod balls he was being thrown. Everybody was joking. Demaryius Thomas isn't used to getting these rifles being thrown into his chest. So he was dropping a lot of them. Hopefully this week Demaryius Thomas catches more of his balls. Get Brock into your lineup up against the Chargers. My first ghost off for you this week is Darren McFadden, running back on the Cowboys, and a lot of people picked him up because DeMarco Murray left, and it really kind of irks me because Jerry Jones has been treating him like he's DeMarco Murray, and Darren McFadden, old man Darren McFadden, is not DeMarco Murray. He is old. Prost has mentioned this a few times in his column. I am shocked that he is even standing on 2 feet. He used to get injured every 3-4 games, and I'm waiting for him to just drop. But this is a bad matchup this week. He has a rivalry game against the Washington Redskins, and yes, I know the Brock game up against the Chargers is a rivalry game, but that defense has just been piss poor. Redskins defense has been okay. They've been kind of hanging in there, and I just see this as an ugly game because Tony Romo, as we mentioned in the intro, if you didn't watch it, is out for the season. He re-injured his collarbone, so the Cowboys are going to be playing from behind. That means they're in the second half, they're going to have to give up the run, and Darren McFadden might get a few run for 3rd and 1s, but that's about it. McFadden's only had 3 100-yard games this season and only 2 touchdowns this season. So he's been going up and down for you, up and down for you, up and down for you. One week he does well, the next week he, gets you, 2 points. So I don't like this matchup. I don't like the rivalry thing. Don't put McFadden in this week, or at least don't expect to get the points out of him that you would want. And I don't think he's going to play very strong down the stretch in your playoffs either. My last go soft is any Patriots running back. All of you poor people that decided you were going to draft a Patriots running back in your fantasy draft this year, why do you do it to yourself every season? We had somebody in my work league, I'm not going to name names to embarrass him, but he even took Jonas Gray because he was the guy on the radar that week at the beginning of the season. Every single week, a different running back goes in for Belichick, as I like to call him, Darth Vader. And I actually ran into a Patriots fan last night that calls him Darth Vader, and he's a fan of the team, so get off my back. Anyway, as I said, Belichick never uses the same running back in back-to-back games to get you fantasy points. If he does, it's very, very rare. You had Deion Lewis, and he got injured, but he only had 2 touchdowns and 234 yards on the season. And then you have LeGarrette Blount, who only has 6 touchdowns this season and one 100-yard game. Then you have the carousel of the Boldens and whoever else, backup White, whoever he picks up off of his practice squad, Belichick throws in. You get 1 strong week out of these guys, and then you got to drop them because the next 2 weeks they don't produce. So do not, I repeat, for your fantasy playoffs, do not put in any of the Patriots running backs because you're just asking for trouble. You might as well just roll dice and throw money down and just pray, and you need definites in your fantasy playoffs. So those are my picks for this week, my beasting out. Let's get on to Jenilee and her real men. Stay tuned.
I need a real man. Have you seen him?
Hi everyone, and welcome to week 13 in my Real Men segment. I'm a little bit in the holiday spirit. I don't have my lights up yet, but of course I have my red on, so we're getting close to Christmas here. And like I said, it's week 13. Your playoffs are coming up. A lot of playoffs start in week 14. Some don't start till week 15. But this week, you need to win, and these picks are going to help you out and do that. So I have 2 go hard and 2 go soft picks for you like always. Let's get right into it. And let's go with my first go hard pick, which is running back Doug Martin of the Buccaneers. And he is going against Atlanta's defense. Now, I don't know if you guys know this, but he is the 2nd leading rusher in the league this season, right under Adrian Peterson, and he has 1,038 rushing yards so far. So he's looking good. He had those injuries there for a couple years, but he is back on it this season. Now, he only has 3 rushing touchdowns, so I know that's a little bit of a concern, but Atlanta has allowed 13 rushing touchdowns, which is the second most in the league. So this is a week that I think he can get in the end zone. He hasn't gotten in the end zone for quite a few weeks, but he's been getting you those yards, so that's been getting you plenty of points. But I think this week he can get you the touchdown to get you those extra 6 points. And Adrian Peterson had 158 yards and 2 touchdowns against this Atlanta defense last week. Like I say, Atlanta always starts off the season pretty good, and then they start falling off, and that's been happening with their whole team. Week 8, Doug Martin had 71 yards against them, so yardage-wise, he was okay. Didn't get in the end zone, but I definitely think this is a home game for them, and he has been scoring his touchdowns at home. So I think this is a week that he may be having you do the Dougie out there because you're going to be celebrating all those points that you get from him. So let me move it on to my second pick. And my second pick is a Bear. Yay! I haven't really talked about the Bears a ton this season, but wide receiver Alshon Jeffrey, and he is going against the 49ers defense. Now, against that 49ers defense, 5 number 1 wide receivers have had over 100-yard games versus this Niners defense. So Alshon is obviously our number 1 wide receiver, and number 1s are pretty much torching the 49ers defense. Now, I know that he's only played in 6 games because of injury. That's been a problem for him this season. But in 3 of them, he has gone for over 100 yards. So that right there is telling you that when he's playing, he's definitely putting up those stats for you. He's also been targeted 11 or more times in every single game except for 1. So when he's out there, again, Cutler is looking his way. He's trying to get Alshon the ball. I know he always looks for him in the end zone. So this is a week that, again, this is a guy that doesn't have a ton of touchdowns on the season, but I think he can get you a touchdown this week. The 49ers give up an average of 276.8 passing yards per game, and 11 out of their 17 passing touchdowns have gone to wide receivers. That's why I think he can get you a touchdown this week, and I think he can go for over 100 yards. This is a home game for the Bears. Look for this to be one that, coming off that Green Bay win, they are excited to get back on home field and hopefully torch the 49ers secondary. Let me move it on to my 2 go soft picks. These are the guys that I don't expect many points from. And my first go soft pick this week is quarterback Tyrod Taylor, and he is against the Houston Texans defense. Now, I know he's been pretty impressive this week. I'm looking at his stats, and I've been watching how he's playing, and he's doing pretty good. But I don't like his matchup this week against the Texans. In the last 4 weeks, the Texans defense, they have found themselves. They realize that they're the Texans defense, and they have only allowed 1 passing touchdown, and they have 5 interceptions. So they're getting those turnovers, and they're not letting these quarterbacks go wild like they were at the beginning of the season. Tyrod Taylor does not have a 300-yard passing game yet this season. A lot of that is because he runs the ball quite a bit himself, but he tends to either pass for, it's weird, 1 touchdown or 3 touchdowns in a game. He doesn't have any games that he's passed for 2 touchdowns. This is a game that I definitely think he might have 1, but I definitely don't think that he's going to have 3. This is not a good defense for him to be going against. And like I said, Houston's defense have found themselves. In the last 4 weeks, the most yards that they've allowed passing is 228. So I think he might get you around 200 yards, somewhere in there. Maybe 1 touchdown, but nothing to jump up and down about. So, and again, this game is actually in Buffalo. It's going to be cold. They're going to want to get LaShawn McCoy going. They're going to want to run the ball. So again, that's why I don't think he's going to have a ton of passing yards for you. Now let me move it on to my last Week 13 pick. Another go soft, and this is tight end Jason Witten of the Cowboys going against the Redskins. I know Greg already gave you another Cowboy to sit, so maybe we're just telling you to play no Cowboys this week. But he's going against that Redskins defense. Witten only has 2 touchdowns, and both of those touchdowns were in the same week. They were in week 1. As we know, Romo's been out most of the season, and him and Romo have that bromance that we talk about sometimes happens between quarterbacks and wide receivers or quarterbacks and tight ends. And because Romo hasn't been there, Witten has not been putting up the stats that you're used to getting out of him. The Redskins defense have only allowed 2 touchdowns by tight ends, so they are holding them tight and not letting them get in the end zone. And Witten has not gone for over 50 yards in 5 straight weeks. So he's not getting you the yards. He's not getting in the end zone. He doesn't have his Romo quarterback that he loves. So I just don't think that it's a good matchup. It does not look good for Witten. There's not a lot of tight ends out there, but again, you're not going to get the points from him, so you need to go figure something out. So there are the picks for this week. That finishes up our Week 13 show for you all. Good luck this week. Hopefully you clinch and get in your playoffs. I'm already clinched in 1, and I have 2 more that I think I'm definitely going to make it in, just depending on what position I go in, which would mean that I would make the playoffs in all 3 of my leagues this year. So knock on wood, I have a good Week 13, and good luck to all of you, and we'll see you next week.